is Teddy Roosevelt getting caught up in the controversy over old images of slavery. Technically not slavery in this case, but the portrayal of him iconically seen on a horse, and on either side of him, one an African American and the other Native American. Offensive to the American Museum of Natural History, outside of which this image has stood for the better part of 80 years. Now they want it gone. And for the Rough Rider, it's going to be a rough gallop into sunset. Is that fair? Is that right? Debbie Lesko joins us right now, the Arizona Republican. What do you think, Congresswoman?
I don't think tearing down statues or defacing statues solves anything. It's a very surface level. You really need to work on things in a bipartisan fashion. I hope we can do a policing reform bill in a bipartisan fashion to solve some of the problems, but also things like my pastor at my church is doing. He's reaching out to black pastors in our community, has met with them 2 times now. We need to come together and talk to each other. Tearing down statues is not the answer. In fact, all it does is divide us more, because the sides really dig in their heels and make it worse.
You know, what's interesting is that when I first heard about this, Congresswoman, I thought, is there some, slave component with which I'm not familiar with Teddy Roosevelt, but it was that particular statue outside the American Museum of Natural History on Central Park West that galled a lot of folks, that it did not put Native Americans or African Americans in a good light. And I'm wondering if that becomes the standard, then it is expanded mightily, right? I mean, we might have seen that last week with Nancy Pelosi wanting to remove portraits of former speakers who were very much attached to the Confederate movement and the slave-owning movement. Where does this go?
Well, it's not a good idea, obviously, for people to tear down statues and erase history. It's not going to solve anything. And I heard that in San Francisco they tore down a Ulysses Grant statue. He was with the Union Army, so maybe they don't even know what they're tearing down. I have no idea. But it makes no sense at all. This isn't going to solve anything. And the thing is there's one thing to have peaceful protest about what you believe in, and another thing to have looting, defacing statues, tearing down statues, fires. And that's why, I have said I'm for law and order. I'm for law enforcement. I support the law enforcement officers. Now, if there are bad actors, they need to be terminated and held to justice. But all this looting and stuff, like I said, people in my district are just mad about it. It's just going to divide us more. This is not the solution.
Yeah, I would have thought General Ulysses Grant would have been a hero, because he commanded the Union Army against the South and led the charge to eradicate slavery. So that one was a mystery to me. But real quickly while I have you, because I know you were in the Tulsa audience this past weekend, and you've heard about the crowd and all of that. We're told that, the president isn't upset about it. Other reports say he was livid about it. What happened?
Well, I was there, and there were thousands of people. There was a lot more than the 6,200 that was reported on the media. I mean, there were thousands of people there, very excited, a lot more than Joe Biden has at his. Was he have like 3 people around a table or something? So all this obsession by the left about, oh, it wasn't crowded, and they show a picture of one guy who is way up at the very top all by himself to kind of portray, oh, it was empty. I mean, that is ridiculous. It is so biased. There was thousands of people there. Now, were there 100,000 people there? No, that wasn't the case. But can you blame people? I mean, there coronavirus is going on, riots are going on, fires are going on. I mean, the average person is probably saying, you know what, I'm going to watch it at home on TV.
Well, it works for NASCAR, doesn't it? I mean, people are okay watching NASCAR on TV. If you see it without an audience, it's one thing. But what advice would you give the president in future rallies, to check the crowds, make sure everything is taken care of? Or how do you handle that going forward?
You know, no matter what the president does, the left is going to criticize him. They're going to find something to criticize him. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that they impeached him, you know, and so that's like past history, it seems like. And now we've moved on, and every single thing that he does, that he tries to do, they criticize him. So my recommendation to him is keep moving forward, stay strong, keep doing the things that Americans want, like we're going to the border. I'm going with him to the border in Yuma tomorrow, Yuma, Arizona, because he's gotten a bunch of the fence completed, a bunch of the wall, and that's what he promised to do. That's what Americans want.
All right, we'll watch it closely. Congresswoman, always good seeing you. Thank you very much for joining us.